In the early 1980s, on a cold December morning, two unknown men broke into a luxury bank in central Geneva, Switzerland. Known as the Swiss Treasure Bank, this bank was one of the country's most prestigious financial institutions, dealing with the elite of Swiss and international society, making it a tempting target for professional thieves. With calculated steps, the two men managed to bypass the complex security system and steal a huge sum estimated at 500,000 Swiss francs. They left the bank without leaving any trace behind. The Swiss police, who were not accustomed to such audacious crimes, quickly began investigating, and the local and international press began to circulate the news widely. But here was the surprise. Instead of focusing on the thieves themselves, the press was drawn into analyzing the bank's reputation and its superior security, which the thieves had so skillfully breached. Some of the headlines were, "How did the safest bank get robbed? Has the security of Swiss banks evaporated? Shame on the Swiss Treasure Bank." Things were heading towards a media disaster for the bank, and questions were being raised about its ability to protect its clients' money. As the pressure mounted, the police began to focus their investigation on two men who had visited the bank a few days before the incident. They were well-known Swiss businessmen, and their movements around the bank were suspicious, making them the prime suspects in the eyes of the police. They were quickly arrested, charged, and the trial began. The press was busy covering every detail, with headlines like, "Suspects arrested in Swiss treasure heist." Are these the masterminds of the robbery? But as the investigation continued, and especially after examining the available evidence, the facts began to emerge. There was no physical evidence directly linking the two men to the crime, no fingerprints, no recordings. Moreover, they had strong arguments that they were elsewhere at the time of the incident. Over time, the police realized that they had made a mistake. While the investigation focused on the two men, the real thieves had managed to escape completely. New evidence gathered pointed to a professional gang from abroad who carried out the crime. The robbers had planned the heist very carefully, and even planted false evidence to trap others. After several hearings, the two men were completely exonerated, and the police apologized to them publicly. As for the real perpetrators, they were later caught after they tried to carry out a similar robbery in another country, thanks to international cooperation between the Swiss police and their European counterparts. When the real thieves were announced, the press returned to write, "The real gang arrested. Was the bank's reputation washed away? Justice is done after years of wrongdoing." In the end, the Swiss Treasure Bank regained its reputation, but the crime remained etched in people's minds as one of the strangest incidents in the history of Swiss banking.